Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Um, let's wait for a few more minutes so others could join us. We have just 36 people in the room now. So let's wait for others to join us as we begin properly. Thank you. So we'll be starting by 8:10. 8:10 on dots. 8:10 on dots. So we'll be starting by 8:10 on dots. So while others join us.
All right, so good morning, good morning, good morning. We are actually starting today's episode of Money Market Review, and my name is Oluwafemi. So kindly follow through. I was actually waiting for others to actually join us before I start the class. But at the moment, as we speak, it's actually 8 minutes past 8 by my own watch here. And I'm going to be starting today's episode of Morning Market Review. All right. So in order for us to actually go further, we'll need to check what we have on Forex Factory, just so we have an understanding of what the market has actually done before now, as well as what it will do for the course of today. All right. So let me share my screen. Good. So I believe you can actually see what I have here on my screen, and this is just a projection of what did happen yesterday. And for yesterday, we can actually see that when it comes to the core CPI from Tokyo, that's talking about the Japanese yen, it actually did came out negative. And for most part of what we had for yesterday, would see that the Japanese yen, or do I say more of the Asian sector, did traded just midway in the sense that there was nothing significant about everything that did happened when it comes to the Asian sector for yesterday. And coupled with the fact that some disappointing data that also did came out from China did not also really give them so much room for them to actually make exploits. So this did affected the market for yesterday. All right, moving on. For NZD, I was actually having a conversation with one of my clients yesterday, of which I did posited that when you look at NZD, GDP, Australian dollars, and the likes, you would see that they have the same pattern. And fine, they have this they have different currency, in the sense that NZD spends what we call New Zealand dollars, GBP that's they spend what we call the Great Britain pounds, while AUD spend what we call the Australian dollar. One thing that is actually common to these three things which I did mentioned is the fact that we have what we call the same rulership over them. Now, when I mean the same rulership over them, it's actually the King Charles of UK that actually extends his reign of government over there. So he's the one that rules them politically. So in one way or the other, they have a similar, or do I say a prototype for their own kind of economy and the way they intend to run them. And that's why you can actually see that they run more like the same region. Then CNY actually talks about the Chinese yuan, the Chinese yuan, and it actually tells us that their services PMI is beginning to actually have some kind of effect, which means that fine, China might not have actually gone back to the pre-COVID-19 period when it comes to the optimization and working in terms of their own industries. But the fact is that they are not where they used to be, in the sense that some of the data are actually coming out is at least giving them some level of hope. Let me put it that way. It's giving them some level of hopes. Then also moving down to the euro area, we actually saw that when it comes to industrial production, Spanish PMI. Now also when you look at the eurozone too, the eurozone also did contains so many how do I call it now? It contains so many countries in it, of which when you talk about the eurozone, France itself actually spends euro, Spain itself spends euro, Italy itself also spends euro, and some other countries which also, so it's actually more or less like a regional kind of currency in which at least everybody in that region have access to, they can spend it, and of course it's for the greater good of them. But why we really make mention of France, Italy, as well as France, Italy, Spain, and Germany majorly when we talk about the eurozone, is because they are more like somewhat the largest economies when it comes to this particular region. All right, they are more like the largest economy, and that's why you talk about them first before looking at other countries in that particular region. And when you look at some of the data coming out from this particular region, of course, CPI that came out about 2 weeks ago was actually bad, but presently now the services PMI is actually giving some level of hopes too, of which you can actually see that in the market. You can actually see that why, well, for some it actually remains unchanged, but for others it came out at least positive for them, and their PPI also did remain it came out lower, but of course it's more or less like what they did forecasted that is going to be. So we have that. Then for job ISM services PMI for US that came out yesterday came out positive, and job or JOLTS job openings did came out a bit down, and which actually told us of the fact, or let us to know that a lot of people are still maintaining what they are doing, which is at least somewhat better. So for today, that was just for yesterday, and I want us to actually have an overview of what we intend to have in the market for today. All right, so for AUD, their GDP actually did came out early as of this morning. That was around 1:30 a.m. and it did came out negative for them. All right, we can actually see that from the previous, which happens to be 0.4%, we are presently having 0.2%. All right, then aside these two, we had by 8 o'clock we had German factory orders, which actually did came out a bit negative, and it actually tells us that we're actually nearing the end of a particular cycle, or do I see the end of the year. And with some of the things happening, you'd see that at the end of the year, a lot of companies are actually looking out at what they can actually do just to close their books, not really more of putting more into the market. And that's why we are seeing some of these things happening around. Now for GBP, by 11:30, we are going to be having a financial stability report, FPC meeting minutes, as well as FPC statements. And when we talk about FPC, this is actually coming from the Bank of England, their financial policy committee, financial policy committee, is more or less like the FOMC, which means Federal Open Market committee members too. So their own is actually called FPC. So we're actually waiting for their statement as well as their minutes, just to see where government is actually headed to in terms of policy and every other thing. And for this one, because they're actually minutes, or do I say meetings or statements, that's why you have no particular figures or data for them. But for you to actually be abreast, by the time this news actually comes out, if you open this envelope and you tend to look at the related stories, you'll be seeing some excerpts of what the stories are or what the informations are. So you get to see that from that area. Then tentatively, we are going to be having 10-year bond auction, but just like it's tentative. We do not know whether it's still going to hold. And by 12 p.m., Governor Bailey from the Bank of England is going to be speaking, and I actually expect that some of these things should be geared towards how they should move that economy forward. And coupled with the fact that with some of the news, which I believe everybody is actually up to their games when it comes to the news, and you had what Rishi Sunak as well as Secretary of State, what they're actually proposing for next year, in the sense that for every one of you who are actually planning to japa your money, you need to actually get a large sum of money to actually be able to do that starting from next year. All right, you can actually read more on the press secretary statements, so to actually get the full details about that. All right, so by 2:15, we are going to be having ADP non-farm employment change, and I actually believe that everybody should actually be ready for this particular news. It's going to move the market, it's going to work wonders, and I can actually tell you that we are going to be making a lot of money from the market based on this particular news that is actually coming out. Then for CAD, which is Canadian dollar, their labor productivity quarterly one is going to be released today, as well as their trade balance. And I want to talk about trade balance. I believe it's you calculating how much you've virtually imported, as well as how much you did exported for a particular period in time. So of course, if you have a good trade balance, it's good for your economy. But if your imports are more than your exports, definitely is not going to be good for your own economy. It means your country is more or less like a dumping ground for the developed worlds. All right. Then also moving to USD around 230. Also, we have revised non-farm productivity, revised units labor costs, as well as the trade balance. So all these two definitely has a toll on the US dollar, of which if we look at what the dollar index is doing, by the time we check our chart, you get to see that dollar index has actually been at least strong for 2 weeks now. It has actually been strong for 2 weeks. Fine. It might have what you call intraday weakness, but of course, if you look at it on a weekly projection, it has been strong for 2 weeks. All right. Moving away from that, by 4 p.m., we are having BOC rate statement, and that's talking about the Bank of Canada, as well as their overnight rate, their IVI, PMI. Then by that same 4 p.m., the Eurozone, we have German Buba President Nigel is going to be speaking. And by 4:30, we are going to be having crude oil inventories. That is to tell us if we have a lot in demand when it comes to oil, or we have a lot in our own keep. All right. So that's about some of the news that is going to be challenging the course of the market for today. So let's go into our chart properly, and just to see some of the things which favorable positions which you can actually enter for today. All right, so the first instrument I'm going to be working on is the dollar index. The first instrument I'm going to be working on is the dollar index. All right. So just like I did said, for about 2 weeks now, it's actually been strong. All right. And this is our candle on more of a weekly time frame. And for this particular week now, you can actually see that it did surpassed almost where it did closed for the last 2 weeks now. This is a particular week, and this is another week. And where market is currently, market has actually did surpassed where the market closed 2 weeks ago. All right, and going back to 1 hour time frame, when you look at what is happening on the dollar with some of the news which we did talk about when we were actually looking at some of the news coming out from Forex Factory and the likes, we would actually see that of course gradually the US dollar is actually beginning to get some level of strength. Of course, just like I said, we might have some intraday lows, but at the end of it, it keeps on covering these things, and of course, the dollar index gets to move much more stronger too. All right, it tends to move in much more stronger too. And for today, some other news which we have is that fine, there are actually optimism as regards if the interest rate in this region should be increased, but at the moment there is nothing as regards that. So except when it's actually been increased, there's nothing we can actually do. But we did still expect that with some news coming out for today, that the dollar index would do more of a buy, at least to test this verified resistance, if not to actually break this verified resistance which you're actually seeing. So in order for you to take advantage of the market for today, you can enter for a buy. You can enter for an instant buy on dollar index. Enter for an instant buy on dollar index while you take your profits around 104.045. Enter for an instant buy. Enter for an instant buy on dollar index and take your profits at 104.045. All right. Then alternatively, for a sell, you can enter for a sell at price level 103.875. 103.875. 103.875. Then you can take your profit around the price region 103.792. 103.792. 103.792. 103.792. 103.792. 103.792. Now, moving away from that, I'll be looking at Euro USD. Euro USD. All right, so for Euro USD, just like we did said that at least for 2 weeks now, where dollar index is currently, it has did surpassed what the market has actually been doing. The lows of 2 weeks region, it has actually did surpassed that, and we can actually see that is making so much waves. And one of the few reasons why we have the dollar doing some of these things is not far-fetched. All right, one, we have positive economic data coming out from US. And just like I did said it yesterday, we had the JOLTS job openings, and it actually did saw a significant drop to 8.73 million in October, which actually did suggested the cooling of the job market. All right, while ISM services PMI provided a more optimistic view. All right, and with that, it actually rose with a forecast of to actually 52.7. And this actually did tell us of the fact that when you look at this particular region, just like I did said, there is optimism in the market as to a gradual recovery. There's optimism in the market as to a gradual recovery into what this particular instrument would do or would likely do. All right, so on 1 hour time frame, if you look at the market, you'd be seeing. So looking at the market for today, you'd see that the market actually opened for more of a bearish market, and presently is still moving in that particular direction. For your entries, you can enter for a buy at price level 1.07921. a buy at price level 1.07921, 1.07921, then you can take your profit at this stone coat resistance at price level 1.08048. 1.08048. 1.08048. Then alternatively, you can enter for a sell. For us to actually enter for a very good sell, let me look at it on 15 minutes time frame to actually give a very good position. All right, so good. So on 15 minutes time frame, you might want to enter the market at price level 1.07818, or basically just allow price to actually break below this untested support. Enter at 1.07760, 1.07760, 1.07760. Then take your profit at 1.07619, 1.07619. Looking at it fundamentally, you'd see that the best bet is to at least not play with technicals. Let's just enter when price is able to actually break below this untested support. Though this is actually on 15 minutes time frame, but let me look at it on 1 hour time frame. So on 1 hour time frame, is still below the lowest of what we've had for today. That is, if price breaks below the lowest of what we have for today, you can actually decide to enter for more of a sell. All right, that's that on Euro USD. All right, also let's look at GBP USD, the projections for the market for today. All right, so for GBP USD, just like I did said, we have optimism in UK on promising business outlook also. Aside from the fact that we have optimism in UK on promising business outlook, when we actually look at what is happening in this region too, I did posited that inflation in this region is showing signs of it cooling down. Inflation in this region is actually showing signs of it cooling down, and aside the fact that inflation is showing signs of it cooling down, for today we will be having some news which actually will talk about their own financial stability reports, financial policy meetings, as well as their own 10-year bond auction. And when we look at some of these news that would actually be coming out, we would see that this will definitely push what is happening in this region. It will push it further. All right. Then aside that too, would also see that there is actually a support where the market is currently. There's actually more of a support where the market is currently, and we did expect that this should actually did at least give a kind of turnaround in the market. Now look at it now. Where market is, this is market on 1 hour time frame. There is a support where market is presently, and because of this support, I'm actually expecting a level of turnaround in the market. So for today, we would expect that you can actually enter for a buy at price level 1.26002, 1.26002. Then you can take a profit at price level 1.26100, 1.26100. Alternatively, when the news comes out for USD around 230 or so, definitely I know the market would move in favor of USD. You can enter for a sell at price level 1.25896, 1.25896. 896. 1.25896. Then you can take your profit around price level 1.25791. 1.25791. 1.25791. 1.25791. 1.25791. All right. So moving away from this, we'll look at USD JPY. USD JPY. For USD JPY, would see that for some of the acclaimed rise which the dollar has actually did add, it hasn't really been much of an easy ride for it when it comes to it pairing with the Japanese yen. And this is due to the fact that when you look at the Japanese yen on its own, it's actually a stabilized economy. All right. And aside from the fact that it's a stabilized economy, when it comes to USD JPY, it actually did it's always showcasing resilience during the Asian section. And aside from the fact that it's showcasing resilience, the Bank of Japan's deputy governor, that's talking about Ryozo Imino, he actually did maintains a dovish stance when it comes to their treasury yield experience as well as expectation. All right, he maintained a dovish stance. Then aside that too, he also did talked about some of the policies which they actually doing, and in some of these things which they did said, they actually did posited that Asian the Asian currencies actually rose slightly on Wednesday. One, because of early interest rate cuts by Federal Reserve in US. You know, I did say that they are looking at increasing their interest rate, but at the other end of it too, and it's just a statement which we have not yet seen it come to fulfillment. They are yet to actually increase interest rates or do anything. All right. Then also too, when we look at China, just like I did said or posited, the news that actually came out from China did said that things are actually getting better at the moment in China. Fine, is not really operating at the level which we did expected them to actually operate. But if you look at it also, they are not where they used to actually be. These are some of the news coming out from China, coupled with the ones which we did said for USD. All right. And for today, we might want to enter for a sell on this instrument at price level 146.934. 146.934, a sell at price level 146.934, while we take our profit at 146.758. A sell at 146.934, while we take our profit at 146.758. Alternatively, we can enter for a buy at price level 147.152, 147.152. Then we'll take our profit at the highest of today towards that verified resistance at price level 147.365. 147.365. 147.365. 147.365. All right. So moving away from that, we are going into USD CAD. USD CAD. USD CAD. All right. Now, let's look at the chart on USD CAD. Good. For USD-CAD, we would see that at least starting from the beginning of this particular week, USD, because of a gradual regaining of its own strength, it has actually did helped USD to actually progress more further. At least it actually did moved from price level on Monday around 1.34828. It has actually moved up to 1.35918 by the early hours of today, and presently it is where it is. And for some of the reasons, or for some of the things that is actually affecting this particular currency, for some of the things that is actually affecting this particular currency, one is that Bank of Canada is keeping the rate on hold. Is actually keeping the rate on hold. And when we look at keeping the rate on hold, their own key interest rate is actually at 5% at the moment. And aside from the fact that is at 5% at the moment, the current interest rate is actually unsustainable for Canadians. Is actually is not sustainable, because when you look at this interest rate, it is actually very, very high. It's actually very, very high. And when we look at the core inflation rate, coupled with their own CPI inflation falling to 4.0, it actually did tell us of the fact that this rate is not really sustainable. All right. And aside the fact that it's not sustainable, we all eyes are actually on their next news that is actually coming up, talking in terms of their own GDP data that is going to be coming up. Then aside the GDP data that is going to be coming up, by 4 p.m. today, we are going to be having their own rate statement, overnight rates, as well as the IV PMI. We are going to be having all this, and we did expect that this should actually at least be geared towards revitalizing this particular economy. Also, we are going to be having labor productivity data also for Canadian dollars for today. All this, when it did comes out, we did expect it to actually did at least give a rise to Canadian dollar. And also, when we look at Canadian dollar, we actually did see that the Canadian economy is actually a petro-economical kind of economy. And for most part of what we've actually been saying, they've not oil has not been doing well for at least this particular week. Oil has not been doing well for this particular week. So definitely it would it's one of the factors affecting oil at the moment. So for today, we can enter for a buy on USD-CAD. That is if price gets to price level 1.35729. Price level 1.35729. 1.35729. Then you can take your profit at price level 1.35814. 1.35729, and you take your profit at 1.35814. Alternatively, for a sell on this particular instrument, you can enter for a sell at price level 1.35639. 1.35639. Then you can take your profit at price level 1.35541. 1.35541. 1.35541. 1.35541. 1.35541. 1.35541. All right. And moving away from this, we're looking at New Zealand dollar against the USD, NZD USD. All right. All right. So looking at NZD USD, NZD USD also is one of the most is also one of the stable instruments which we have. NZD-USD is also one of the stable instruments which we have. And just like you can actually see, the so-called movement in USD, you'd always see that when it comes to NZD, it always have a way of actually did at least pushing itself further, just to make sure that they go back to whatever profit that has actually been taken away from them. They find a way to actually did get it back gradually. Now, aside the news which did came up that we have actually did analyzed or talked about when it comes to USD in terms of the job GOLTS job data and the other things which did came out yesterday that is still affecting the market up to this very moment. When it comes to NZD, some of the news which we had for NZD at the moment, not so much. But the only thing is just that the Reserve Bank of New Zealand actually said that is leaving its key interest rate unchanged, and is presently at 5.5%, which is still the highest in the last 15 years. All right, is the highest in the last 15 years. The key interest rate is at 5.5%. So the market is still looking at a way to actually settle around this, and just to see how it did affect the economy of this particular nation internally. All right, how it's going to affect the economy of the nation internally. So for today, we can actually see that market did opened bullish for today, reacting to what did happen yesterday, and presently market is at a resistance level. When it comes to NZD-USD, is actually at a resistance level. So for today, I still expect that the market should still move more of this bullish stance. All right, but for us to actually do a favorable one, enter, that is if price breaks above the if price is able to actually break above the highest of today, as well as breaking above this weak resistance which we are having, enter for a buy at price level 0.61766. 0.61766, while you take your profit at price level 0.61842. Price level 0.61842. 0.61842. Then alternatively, you can enter for a sell at price level 0.61632. 0.61632. Then you can take your profit at price level 0.61555. Price level 0.61555. Price level 0.61555 for your take profits on that particular sell. All right. So let's go to oil now. Oil. Just like we did analyze the Canadian economy, and we did said that one of the few reasons why Canadian dollar has been doing has been behaving badly is due to the fact that when you look at what is happening to oil, you'd see that there is actually a massive drop on oil. There's a massive drop on oil. Ever since last week Friday, oil has actually lost more than it has actually gained in the past 2 weeks. Since last week Friday up to this present moment, it has lost more than it has actually gained in the past 2 weeks, and you can actually see that it's presently trading bearish. It's presently trading bearish, and reason why it's trading bearish is that, one, just like I did said the last time I was here, we had issues about we had worrying issues on what is happening in the Middle East. Aside the worrying issues of what we have happening in Middle East, Also, we have issues as regards what is happening in US, China. And when you look at the issue of US, you see that oil inventories in US is actually getting higher and higher, which actually tells us of the fact that we have little or low usage when it comes to oil in this particular region. Aside these two, we also had issues as regards voluntary cutting down of supply of oil, as well as barrels per day. All right, how much they would actually be producing per day. We would actually see that there was more or less like a cut in this, and normally this cut is meant to actually bring about an increase in what the prices of oil would be, but of course it wouldn't really give us what we really did expect at the moment. And that's why you see also disappointing data from China also is also telling us that fine, when it comes to oil now, the demand for oil is not what we expected it to actually be. And also this ceasefire agreement which we did expected to actually happen between Israel as well as Hamas, Israel is actually defying some of these things, and you can actually see bombardments here and there. Of course, this speaks about the unrest, all right, in this particular region. So for today on oil, we can enter for a buy on oil. That is if price trades above the highest of today at price level 77.61, 77.61, 77.61. Then you can take your profit around price level 78.06, 77.61. Then you take your profit around 78.06. Alternatively, you can enter for a sell at price level 76.91, 76.91. Then you take your profit at this verified support at 76.47, 76.47, 76.47. All right, that's that on oil. That's that on oil. Now let's look at gold. Let's look at gold. All right, so just like we did posited earlier on, how dollar index has actually been behaving, we've actually seen that dollar index, just like I said, has been able to do more of a 2 weeks increase. That has been able to do more of a 2 weeks increase, and because of this 2 weeks increase, we can actually see that in as much as dollar index is actually beginning to get some level of strength, gold has actually been doing otherwise, and you see that they trade most times opposite each other, because we consider them, investors consider them as safe even. All right, and for early as of today, present up to what we have now, we can actually see that gold is still doing more of a buy. For people who have that tenacity to actually go in for a risk, you can decide to enter the market presently for a buy. Just like I said, if you have the tenacity to actually go in for a risk market, you can enter the market presently at where it is and take your profits before you get to this verified resistance. Take your profit before you get to this verified resistance. And when you look at why I'm actually saying this is because presently it's actually buying, and I actually did expect it to actually keep this particular momentum. But if you are somebody who do not really want to risk anything in the market, the best thing you can actually do is wait till price actually gets to let's say break above this verified resistance. That is at price level 2043.71, 2043.71. Then you can take your profit at 2050.52, 2050.52. Enter for a buy at 2043.71, while you take your profit at 2050.52. Alternatively, if you want to enter for a sell, you can enter for a sell at price level 2029.00, 2029.00, 2029.00, while you take your profit around 2020.83, 2020.83, 2020.83, 2020.83. All right, now let's I'll look at US 100, US 2000, as well as US 30 with the same fundamental analysis, then I go back to D30 just to cement that. All right. Now, I just saw the comment, or do I say the chat section now, and I saw somebody saying when US dollar is weak, what's the effect on US 100? The normal effect which you have on US 100 when dollar is weak is that you expect US 100 to actually pick up. All right, but sometimes you see the market doing opposite, because when it comes to the market, one thing which you need to actually have at the back of your mind is that what drives all these particular instruments, or what are some of the things which are actually made up in the composition of this particular instruments you are talking about. Now, when you talk about US 100 specifically, US 100 is actually known to be a tech sector, all right, which actually tells us of the fact that most of the companies that are listed on US 100 are actually more of new generational companies, or companies that has to do with tech. And any greater investment or advancement in technology actually on a normal day will actually brew good for them. But for most part of this year, it actually did rose compared to what we had for last year. But why it's actually not been doing very fine is that the banks that actually investing into the tech sector actually did collapse about a year ago or so. They are just trying to actually do a kind of how do I call it now, merger and acquisition. They're just trying to do some kind of merger and acquisition, so that at least they can some other banks can actually take up the merger, take up the debt, and look forward to actually investing much into that. And you can actually see that this actually gave room or rise to the development of different AIs and the likes, which can actually do things in a jiffy. All right, that's one. Two is that all this data, disappointing data, has actually not been doing very well. All the disappointing data that we've had on how do I call it now? All the disappointing data that we've had on dollar at this moment is actually did at least giving rise to what US 100 is doing. So for today, what you can actually did expect is that at least for the early hours of today, enter for a sell. You can enter a sell at price level 15946.94. 15946.94. Enter for a sell at price level 15946.94, while you take your profit at price level 15915.26. 15915.26. 15915.26. The enter your position at 15946.94. 15946.94. Then take your profit at 15915.26. Alternatively, you might want to enter for a buy. Let me look at a smaller time frame to see what it would look like. All right, you can enter for a buy at price level 15974.51, 15, or you can enter for an instant buy. Just enter for an instant buy on US 100. Enter for an instant buy while you take your profit around 15982.84. Enter for an instant buy, then take your profit at price level 15982.84. 15982.84. All right. Then on this same analysis, I move to US 2000. On this same analysis, I move to US 2000. So for US 2000, most of the companies which we have on US 2000 are more of household utilities, and sometimes you tend to see it behaving differently. Aside from the fact that you tend to see it behaving differently, it's actually much more profitable because you have 2000 companies registered in it just as one. You have 2000 companies registered in it just as one. So for this one too, you can actually enter for an instant buy. On this particular market, you can enter for an instant buy while you take your profit at 1871.0. Enter for an instant buy while you take your profit at 1871.0. Enter for an instant buy, take your profit at 1871.0. Then alternatively, enter for a sell at price level 1864.4. 1864.6. 1864.6. 1864.6. Why you take your profit at price level 1858.8. 1858.8. 1858.8. I believe you are good to go. All right. So US30. Standing on the same protocol for US30. Don't enter for an instant buy on US30. Don't enter for an instant buy on US30. So let me look at US30 on a very small time frame. Okay. All right. You can enter for enter for a sell on US30 at price level 36221. A sell at price level 36221. 36221. Then you take your profit at the lowest at price level 36203. 36203. 36203. Then you can take your profit. Yeah, take your profit at 36203. Yeah. Then for a buy on this particular instrument, enter for a buy at price level 36245. 36245. 36245. Then take your profit at 36262. 36262. 36262. All right. Lastly, on this particular instrument, let me look at DE30. We are far behind time. DE30. DE30. All right. So for DE30, we can actually see that market has been more of a bullish market, at least do I say since last week. It has been more of since last week. It has been more of you can see that it has been more of a bullish market, and reason is not far-fetched. If you look at the Eurozone, you'd see that the Eurozone has not been doing very fine. You can see now for Euro USD, USD has actually been taking the large part of it, which tells us of the fact that the Eurozone is actually weak at the moment. And for the fact that the Eurozone is weak, it's not really giving so much vibes, and that's why dollar the index in this region is actually profiting much from this little weakness which we have. But at least I actually did expect, because my stochastics is actually telling me that at a point in time, at least for the early hours of today, the market is actually overbought. And for the fact that market is overbought, we're actually expecting that it should do some kind of retracement. All right, I'm expecting that it should do some kind of retracement. So you can enter for a sell at price level 16569.5. 16569.5. 16569.5. Then you take your profit at 16529.4. 16529.4. Then alternatively, you can enter for a buy. Let's make it a favorable buy. Enter for a buy, that is if price breaks above the highest of what we have for today, so that we don't get trapped into the market. Enter if price breaks above the highest of what we have for today at price level 16625.4. 16625.4. Then you can take your profit at 16661.6. 16661.6. All right, that's that today on our morning market review edition. And in case you're having any challenges, feel free to reach out to your account officer. I believe they are going to reach out to you and actually get whatever issue it is sorted. And just like I do say, nobody knows what you are trading. So reason, if you have any issues or you have any challenges, just do a screenshot of your chart, send it to your account officer. They can actually analyze whatever entry you entered the market into and see whether there's going to be a retracement, or if it's actually a trade, you can actually opt out or you can actually top up. All right, you get to do that. Then aside that too, we are going to be having our own Megaton event in Port Harcourt as well as Abuja tomorrow. Okay, Port Harcourt is today, while Abuja is tomorrow. So we are going to be having that particular event. Port Harcourt is today, Abuja is tomorrow. Reach out to your account officer so you can actually get there. Also, there are a lot of prizes we are giving back to the society. There are a lot of prizes to actually be won. So feel free and do have a peaceful day. Thank you.